Here we are at our brand new entrance for our brand new park. Oh god, I don't even know the name of the park. Welcome to the entrance area of our brand new park, ChachoLandia. We're going from pretty much being told we're going to get tased by Boris Johnson if we leave our house to go and live your life again. You're walking through the flower beds, do you mind? Awesome, well that's a tree. I've got frame rate back, so this is like going to make you sick. Do you know what? I'm going to say it. This turned out way better than I thought it would. Tased by Boris Johnson. I just got to leave that in. Hey everybody, how's it going? Thanks for coming along to episode number 2 of ChachoLandia. Hey to you guys in the Premiere chat and hey to you guys on the community tab as well. Thank you so much for all of your support. You absolutely do mean the world to me. It's officially theme park season here in the UK. I went to Thorpe Park and got my rides in on the Swarm, the first roller coaster of the season. So I feel way better about everything. I got my adrenaline fix. So this is our park then that we're building, very much inspired by Carowinds and Thorpe Park and everything. You've seen everything that we've done in the last episode. We've done our ticket offices down here. We've got our box office. We've got a bit of a backstage area. We've got the toilets here. We've got our gift shop and also our concourse run here. So in this episode, this is where we're working on and this bit up here. I think before I start talking about it, we cut to the update, right? And here is that update, and we've got our first rides in the park. Now, I wanted to have something that was going to smack you right in the face as you walked through the entrance. You know, it was either going to be something like Rush at Thorpe Park, which is a screaming swing, or it was going to be this bad boy. It has a name. It's called Sun Giant, and it's Alexander over on the community tab that won the poll for that name. I haven't done ride signs and stuff for this just yet, but it's in the park. So you can see it literally is a key signature thing that smacks you right in the face, exactly as I wanted it. So this is the overview of the area. So Reigate Lake was a pretty cold park, right? It was pretty, it was beautiful, it had foliage and everything, but it just didn't really take much care with colours and everything. Whereas this park is going to be very different. We're going to have lots of landscaping and lots of colour and lots of things going on. So this is where we're going to start. Just down by the maintenance area, I have put in some kind of like foliage and everything in this area. I've lined it off with trees, and the trees act as some kind of like near miss with the actual gyro ride, so I quite like how this how this has actually turned out. Then you've got a separating fence because you don't want people to actually see the maintenance area and everything from the main park, right? So you sort of try and hide it where you can. And then in front of it, I've just put in another flower bed. So it's 2 level, it's split level. I'll explain why in a moment. And this one obviously cuts off the actual pad that comes in game. So in the game life, this is a circle and it comes around this way. So I've actually just put some mulch down and then I've just put some flowers and everything in this way. So why is it on 2 levels? Well, the engineers amongst us will already have spotted that putting a ride like this that swings, that's going to be shifting its weight from left to right as it's a pendulum, will actually start to cause some stresses on the land. Now, the idea of having the 4 pillars is that it actually dampens the stress and it dampens the forces that are generated by the ride, right? So that already does its job, but all of that stress that you're putting into the ground has to go somewhere. And here, it's going to be a little bit sort of lifeless. It's going to be a bit shallow. It's not going to be as strong. Think back to the Reigate Lake episode where we do the RMC and I start talking about how you have to reinforce the land because of the movement of the ride. So that's what we've done here. This would all be reinforced underneath here. As you can see, this is Pentagon style pad. And is it Pentagon? Well, I keep doing this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, technically Pentagon because it's 5 sides, although it's hexagon really. But hey, don't tell anyone. It's our secret. So, yeah. It's on 2 levels. All of this would be reinforced, and then you've just got this bit here that also adds as reinforcement rather than it just coming into a hill. So it's got 2 levels of reinforcement. I've checked it out. Some of our rides also do this as well in our parks, particularly the ones that are on hills, Hyder Park for example. So I know that this does work from an engineering perspective. The Screaming Swing, just FYI, would actually have had worse forces in this position because you've only got the 2 pillars and the canisters and everything that go on there. So I actually decided to go with this one instead. And then all I've done here is I've brought across the herringbone brick, so it's completely consistent. I've added in the ChachoLandia stuff here. I think I want to make this a fountain. I don't think I want this to be a flower bed. So watch this space. I think I'm going to change it when I do the tarting up of the area and making sure that it's all ready for everything. So queue line wise then, I wanted to have it squared off. I wanted it to be with these very geometric angles. I didn't want it to be round. And I also wanted the queue to follow that pattern as well, because it's quite easy to lay down the concrete in that pattern, right? So you just lay down a slab of concrete this way, a slab of concrete this way, and then you just have to find a way of connecting it in the middle. Of course, we are going to do some more inventive kind of queue lines as we go along the park build, but for this one, this is perfectly fine. And as I said, I just need to do the ride sign, sun giant and everything in here. The pole's only just finished, so I just need some time to create the actual sign itself. Then the next change that I've got here, ignoring this stuff in the background, is Burgz. So of course there was going to be a Burgz in this park, but I've gone for a slightly different design in this one. So where I've famously said that I always use like the brick, and the Burgz have always got the same outer shell, I've gone for something different in this one. I've actually taken inspiration from Infinity Bar at Thorpe Park, in the sense that it's this beautifully lined fronted bar, but I've also copied across some of the architecture style that we had over in the gift shop here with the slanted roof and the pillars and everything. So I wanted this to be a bit more of a consistency. And the Fundy Fun Spot interior was actually a bit of a test run for something that I wanted to do on the interiors in here. So this is what I've done. We've got ourselves a nice little burger place, and you come up and you order at the bar. I think I'm done with this. I don't think I'm going to clutter this out anymore. I wanted to keep this quite clean. I'll do another Thememaker's Toolkit pass just to check, but I don't think there'll be massive changes in here. But yeah, I wanted this sort of like modern, clean wooden feel with the marble tiles on the floor and everything. And then I just brought in all of the geometric shapes that I used in Fundy Fun Spot. So the burger, and I've also just put the order, and then I've put some pillars in, and so these are just the wood. Let me show you the wood pieces that I've got in here. Thememaker's Toolkit, you would have seen it on the most recent episode I did for the Thememaker's Toolkit. This is actually the wooden floor that I use quite a lot. This is the same modern floor that I use, and these are just art shapes, right? So just the two rectangles and the semicircle, just art shapes, and then these are just some kitchen equipment stuff that we've got. So that's nice and simple. And I wanted this to actually be usable by guests. It makes let me just get rid of the highlight. It makes sense for them to actually be usable, so that's what I've done here. I've just put in some shops, need some staff and everything, and then I've forgive the guests walking through the benches. These are actual benches, so they're in a line, but because they're in a line, it freaks out the AI like that. They've just disappeared. They have transported to another dimension. So come back. Yeah, so I've just put in some covers like I did the Game of Cones interior, just to make it look nice, make it look a little bit more modern. Just some tidying up I need to do. I've just noticed that this is clipping through the bin, so I've just a little bit of tidying up that I need to do in here, and then a bit more casual dining around the other side. So there's a bit of a bar stool. Can you imagine somebody watching upon you eating, like, I'm going to watch you eat? not creepy at all. And along here then we've just got the more casual side of dining. We've got some high tables, and we've got the breakfast bar and some casual dining and stuff. And then all the compliance signs in here, and then lights also done. Now, this brings me on to the patio area. So the patio area, nice and simple. I've tried, where possible, to not have these lined up, so it's not like in a complete grid. I haven't really done a very good job. So I'm going to go back and I'm just going to randomize these a little bit more. But they would ultimately be in lines, right? They would be in some kind of geometric order. That would make sense. But then I wanted this whole patio area to look down upon the area that I'm now designing down here. So this is going to be the more family-friendly, kiddie style area. So of course all of this is done, but before I can talk about any of that, I need to do this. There you go, that's better. Welcome to the kids land, everybody. Love it. I don't really know what I'm going to call it, actually. I'm kind of toying on the idea of Nerdoland, because that's the name that I was going to give the park to start with, and I just need to see if this area is actually going to assume that personality before I do anything. But kids area, what do you do in the absence of being able to use any kind of real life characters or anything like that in your park? Well, of course, you splash it around with colour. So that's what I'm doing. Loads and loads of colour, lots of sickly sweet stuff going on. And the area itself is actually built on a bit of a shelf. So it's on the side of a hill, so it comes down in shelves where you've got this bit that's flat, then it drops down, and you've got this bit that's flat, then it drops down, and you've got this bit that's flat. You get the picture, right? So on and so forth. And that's because we're going to have some thrill coasters and stuff in this area down the bottom here. So that's where we're going with this. I need to see what's going to happen in this area and how that's going to develop, and of course how this area is going to develop to know how the rest is going to feel. And this is a kids area, right? So it's all going to be kids ride based. So we've got loads of stuff that's going around, and then we've got a coaster that's sitting in the front here. So when you come in from the main entrance, I need to think about guest flow, because this is sitting right in the middle of the park, and of course guests are going to come from all sides to go to wherever they're going to go. Think spoken wheel pattern, right? So I've got loads of entrances planned. There's one here, there's going to be one down the bottom here, there's going to be one here, and there's also the main entrance here, and I may even spark off and come down this way as well. I don't know, like I say, I need to find out what's going to come around here. So I'm thinking about guest flow on this one and making sure that it's as fluid as possible. So you come down and you're met with your first two rides. Need to change the colour of this one. Not entirely happy with the colour scheme on this one, but the green one's alright. We did alright with that one. And so yeah, I've just put these two in because that feels like you need to walk between two rides. I've also left all of the concrete out so you can see what I'm doing with the paths, just in case you've never seen me do this before. Lots of misdemeanors that need fixing. So yes, that's what we're doing here. Lots of different colours. Each ride has its own separate colour. So the Koalas is the green and the balloons is the red. The Swift Eagles is yellow. You've got the merry-go-round that's orange. Well, you get the picture. You've got eyes. You can see it for yourself. So lots of foliage theming going on in this one because we don't have characters to use, right? So lots of colour, lots of foliage, lots of things to see and smell and do. And you use foliage for all of the senses, right? So when you're dealing with a kids area, you want to engage their senses as much as possible. So that would be the normal 5 senses, you know, hearing, sight, smell, taste, blah, blah, blah. So smell would be covered by doing things like sweet shops and also foliage. So that's what we're doing. You know, when they come to flower and everything, you've got all of the hay fever sufferers that are cursing you, but you've got the kids that love the smell. So what we do then is we connect all of our tiered areas with some kind of pathing area that goes down the slope. I think I've decided to do a ray gate and just leave the slopes as they are, and then just concrete the areas. This area then has its own little water feature in the middle. It's probably on some kind of timer. I've made sure that it's as real as possible, so you've got some drains in the area, and you've also got some pipes that are feeding all of the water. So it's just a cool place that you can come, right? It's just like a nice little place you can come and sit down. I've put all the splats on the ground. Loved doing this in Reigate Lake. It looked so awesome. So lots of colour again, engaging like all of the kid senses and stuff. So lots of colour splashed around, and it just gives a bit of fun to the area, I think. It's supposed to be designed for ice cream shops, but hey, whatever. Talking of ice cream shops, here we go with the Cosmic Cow. So this is looking really cool in its nice, awesome colours. Very on brand, very pink and blue. Lots of work that I still need to do on this, like lots of detailing and touching up and everything to go on here. Swift Eagles and then the merry-go-round. Again, this is just needing its concrete area and foliage and everything going along in here. Then we've also got a car ride. Of course we've got a car ride. I've taken the inspiration from Fundy Fun Spot and Dorney Park. You won't be surprised that we're copying another park. And so yeah, it's just a very simple car ride. Lots of foliage in this one again. No theming, but it's gonna look awesome. The scenery rating of this one's already rated low, and guests are still queuing up. So hey, happy days. And then we've got the coaster itself. So I've taken a bit of a toned down version of the Reigate Lake coaster. So you come round the lift hill, round the first turn into a lift hill, into the first drop, first turn, lift into an airtime hill, into a turnaround, second airtime hill, turnaround, brake run, done. Nice and swift coaster. 2-train operation. Probably a bit overkill, but this is actually getting queues at the moment, so it warrants having the 2-train operation. And then I've just continued that child theme all the way down. Hey guys, surprise, surprise! We're going to do ride photos. Hands up who's surprised? No one. So Yeah, there's going to be ride photos in this one, but I haven't even started the actual shop itself, so this is just the shell and where it's going to sit. And then in terms of maintenance area, then I wanted to put a maintenance area in here. I wanted to keep it simple. I wasn't going to do a maintenance area to start with because I put a fence up here, and it felt like from the station it's hiding something, so what better to hide than to do a maintenance area. So just a nice simple transfer track and maintenance area, bit of clutter going on, so I started that process. But the station itself needs a little bit of work, still needs to be done inside. I started to put down the hydro gravel and also the base for the actual lift hill itself. And you've probably noticed something a little bit weird here. So, how did I do this, I hear you ask? It's a 2-meter path. It's a 2-meter normal path. Can't do that in game normally, right? So, in the top tips episode where I do the pathing, it's episode number 2, I teach you how to do it. And I thought for this one I needed to do it because I didn't have a lot of room here. 4-meter path was just too wide. So, I actually used the trickery to make this 2-meter path, so there is some trickery going on, and then there's just a barrier along here just to stop them going on. So I need to just do all of the details and everything in this area, lay down the concrete and stuff and make sure that's happy. And then this is the final area. It's a show area, and I love this area. Like, it's starting to come together really nicely. It's going to look awesome when it's got some foliage and everything around it. Taken very much from Chessington World of Adventures and how they do their show area with the Gruffalo, and it's just this idea that you can just come down, you can chill out, you can see a show and just have a, some fun. A couple of stairs coming down into the main area, and then also a flat access for your disabled guests too. There's a bit of a backstage. Haven't done the inside of the building, don't know if I'm going to, but there's a backstage area, and then I've just cluttered out some stuff along here. So of course I'm going to show you the full tour when we've finished it and everything's in situ. So guys, that is the kids area as it sits at the moment. It's a real quick whistle stop tour. So I'm going to carry on, and I wonder how this is going to turn out. Yeah, do you know what, guys? I don't even know why I even questioned what this area was going to be called. Of course it was going to be called Nerdoland. What else would it have been? It's taken on a life of its own. So I'm pretty much done with the interior of the actual land itself. I need to do the exterior and the perimeters, but of course you know the build process by now. I need to actually do the outside before I know what the outside is going to look like. So for now, we're done with the inside. So we've got ourselves this really awesome, beautiful, colourful area that's just full of life. And look how deep this looks. Like, it's just got complete depth now that the nature is in. It's just takes on this whole different life when you put nature and stuff in. And remember as well that ChachoLandia is going to be a park that prides itself on its presentation, its guest presentation. So of course it's going to use lots of colour, it's going to use lots of flowers, it's going to use lots of things to see and do, and so that's what we're going for here. Remember that we're supposed to be igniting all of the senses of kids as much as possible, so you're going to have the colours and the sights and the sounds and the smells and maybe a little bit of taste if you breathe in through your mouth. Gross. So of course we're going to do a tour, and we've got Sun Giant that's sitting here right at the front, and then we've got Burgz that's sitting here. We'll come to those shortly. Let's have a look at the actual land first. So yes, I did convert the original feature in the front here to a fountain, and I think it looks actually way better as a fountain than it did as a flower bed. So I quite like that thought. And now the camera has just decided it's going to... There we go. So now we walk down the actual hill, and you go past all of the entertainers and everything that are looking after the kids, and then we come down into our first couple of rides. So we already know the profile of these. They've got their own colours, they've got their own personalities. So all I've done is I've just tidied up all of the stuff, put all of the compliance signs round, and just given it lots and lots and lots of flowers. I've also, I don't know if you can see it on YouTube, I don't know if it's capturing it, but there's a bee here. So I've put in the packs that you get, you know, the SFX packs that have nature. So there's butterflies, there's fireflies, and there's bees running around, because of course where you're going to be using lots of flowers and lots of displays like that, you're going to have lots of nature and lots of animals. So it just adds that extra level of realism, that bit of depth to the area. So that's what I've done here. I've also come along then and tidied up all of the concrete, so it's now just one complete path area, and this now carries on round to the right hand side where you go down towards the central feature, or down to the left round here. I don't know which way to take you. Let's go down to the actual show area, shall we? Let's give this a go. Love how this show areas come out. So imagine you're going to have shows here every hour or every couple of hours periodically, and it's just a real awesome place just to come and chill out and just watch something happen. You might have your lunch here, whatever, right? It's just a nice area to be in, and of course it's got a thing lined up to it. So let me just press play on this bad boy. Yeah, I've been back onto VidEasy. Chill out, guys. So, I wanted to have some kind of representation of a show here. Imagine this would be like a dancing show. This is where you'd get entertainers coming in and doing dances and stuff. And we don't have those in game, so I've had to leave it blank. But the rest is all represented. So lots of, again, stuff going on. You've got the smoke, you've got the confetti. These lights are all triggered. It's set up for night time as well, so it looks cool at night. I just like how this has turned out. Like I say, it's just this awesome little chill out spot that we've just got sitting quite nicely in this area. And then we come down to our coaster. It now has a name that's really difficult to pronounce. Professor Plumplepop's coaster. I don't even know where that name came from. It just came out of nowhere, right? I just kind of had this imagination or this idea where I wanted to have a kids' TV entertainer that may have lent their name to a roller coaster, and Professor Professor Plumplepop is the name that came up, and I don't even know why I made it so hard to pronounce. But can you imagine kids trying to say it? Oh, whatever. So I've just done all of the decorating around the area then. So we've got lots of, again, colour, lots of foliage, lots of things to see. I've given the trees these like planters that come from the vintage pack and just dotted around loads of geometric shapes and stuff just to give the area a bit of life, a bit of like friendliness. And do you know, I found on the workshop these KPR walls. So they're the cartoon wall set, and they are amazing. They brought the area to life so much better than the stucco and the brick that I was using originally. Like the stucco and the brick just made it feel really, really cold. So I've now added these in, and it just looks so much better. As you can see, I'm like really pleased with how this has turned out. And then so the actual coaster area itself then has all been lined off. I've put all of the fences up, and we've just got some covers that are going on here. Had to put in a custom support in this area because the only two supports we had was this one and this one. I've done my best with the game. Like, we don't have the ability to do custom supports for this kind of coaster because we just don't have the support pack. So this is the best you're going to get. We're just going to live with it. Whatever. It's just there. And then we come to the Plaza area. So I followed the idea of Centurion at Reigate Lake, how this sort of comes into a mini plaza area. The queue, of course, is a very short one because it's a kids coaster, so it's just a bit of a cattle pen. When we've got more stuff in the park, then these queues are going to be a lot shorter, right? So this is going to be appropriate for that. Lots of detailing going on inside the station then, mainly the branding. So this whole Plumplepop branding is supposed to be everywhere, right? I don't have an image of who this professor would be. I kind of leave it to your imagination, really. But this is the logo that you would possibly see on the TV and stuff. And then we just added coaster to the bottom. And then we've just got the maintenance area, just added some extra bits in here just to make it feel a bit more of a maintenance area, a bit more cluttered. And of course it's all hidden, right? So it doesn't actually matter how much of a state it is from behind the fence because it's all hidden, so you can't actually see it. Then I just added some station stuff as well. So I added the numbers and the spots on the floor. It just felt like this station needed a little bit of livening up. It needed a little bit of a personality adding to it. So that's what I've done. Added that to the bottom. And then we come over here. Of course, we've got ride photos. So return to the ride photo booth. Kitted out as you would imagine a ride photo booth to be. You know, you're used to me doing these by now. We've got the staff and we've got the printers, and then there's the line of the TV screens with the actual pictures from the coaster itself in here. Again, lots of colour, lots of things. Oh, there's a butterfly. Look, it's red. And then lots of stuff going on, right? Then we're going to come this way. I've added in vending machines everywhere so that we can monetize as much of the area as we can without actually overdoing the staff that we need and the shops and buildings and stuff. So these are all dotted in, and then grabbing machines and stuff because, again, monetization, why not? And then we come over to the center of the area, and do you know what? I don't I hate the Lunar Autos. In fact, I hate the track rides in Planet Coaster. I'm just going to throw that out there because this is now officially the highest rated ride in the park, and it's a 3 mile an hour car ride. I don't know what Frontier were thinking when they did the prestige system for their track rides. It's just ridiculous, but it is what it is, right? So that's my complaint. That's my gripe. I've done it. It's out. It's out. So yeah, so I've just put lots of colour and everything around here. It's just a car ride, right? Given it a real simple station, it didn't need to have anything particularly special adding to it. It was just a typical station over here, and then just of course all of its maintenance area stuff would come here. So the idea is that they would take away these fences, the cars would come off, and they'd maintain them in this area. But I just tried to tart it up a little bit just so it looks a little bit better, right? So that's what we're doing here. And then we come down this way. There's lots of tidying up that I need to do in this area. This is one of the areas that, as I said, I need to know what's going to come this side to know how this area is going to look. So I've paused the design of this area, but I did know how I wanted this area to be. And so that's kind of what I've done here, right? So all of the colours, all of the flowers and everything continuing. And then same principle over here. I need to know what's coming at the outside to know what's coming over there, right? And then we come to Cosmic Cow, and it's now done. So lots of detailing going on here, lots of stuff that's been put into its place and everything. So this is all ready and all good. Lots of benches and everything put around, and then of course here's the water feature, also like a volcano actually. I hadn't noticed that. So yeah, like how this is turned out. I didn't put any flowers or anything in here in the end. I kept it actually quite open because the water feature should just do its talking, right? It should do what it needs to do. And then we come up to the balloon ride, and this is now called Around the World. Lots of touching up done to the queue line. I've put in floodlights everywhere, by the way. We use these at Thorpe Park quite a lot, so we don't actually have to have lampposts everywhere. This is something that I really wish I had done in Reigate Lake, because I use lampposts everywhere, so I've actually started to use floodlights instead. But yeah, so we've got Around the World. It's quite nice. Do you know what? I love how this has turned out. I really do. The sign looks awesome. The sign font in the background, that came from the workshop. I'm sorry, I don't remember who the creator is. I'll make sure I take a note and leave a comment. But I just put the sign in. And then of course we come to Burgz. Lots of work gone on with Burgz. Bit of tidying up on the exterior. Added in some TVs and everything in the front here. And then just inside, lots of detailing, lots of stuff. Oh, it's gone really quiet. Lots of detailing, lots of stuff. The bar is now done. The collect point is now done, and guests are using it. We just sort of have to ignore the fact that guests are clipping through stuff because that's just the AI. There's nothing I can do. These are real benches. It is what it is, right? And then we come out to the main plaza area. So again, this is one of those principles where I don't really know what's going to come here, and I don't really know what's going to come here. That's probably going to be next episode stuff. By the way, I'm going to leave a poll in the community about what the coaster we're putting here, so please make sure you go and vote in that. But we come to Sun Giant. Now done. I mean, look, it's just a sightline beast, right? So we've got ourselves an awesome little logo, all TMTK letters. We've got our ride signs and stuff, and I've just tidied up all of the queue, made it fit for purpose for what we were looking for, added in all of the concrete pads and stuff, and then all of the foliage and everything around here. And then the last thing I added was just a sign here, just pointing you in the direction of the queue, because of course you're going to see this as soon as you walk in, right? So you're going to want to know where the queue is. And so guys, I'm going to cut in some glamour shots of the whole build whilst I'm just saying this next bit. So like I said, I'm going to put a poll in the community tab as to what coaster we're going to need. So at the front of the park next door to Sun Giant, I want to have some kind of foreboding coaster that's going to come in there, and I need your opinion on what that coaster is going to be. So I'll leave those options over there. But guys, this has been a really lovely build to do. I was a bit unsure about it to start with, but it's come across really nicely and it's turned out really well, so I'm really pleased with how that's come along. Thank you so much for getting to the end of the video. All of your interactions really do help, so if you have found the video helpful or whatever, if you like the video, then please like the video, leave a comment so that we can find some more people to watch our videos, because that's how you help the algae thingy, the algorithm. So guys, of course, until we speak again, please look after yourselves, keep yourselves safe, and I reckon we should go and ride Plumple Pop.